Good morning, Preparatory High School. Let's try that again. Good morning, Tradition Preparatory High School. We really appreciate you joining us today. I'm very excited. What is the white walls behind you, if you don't mind me asking you, Miss Latour?
Good morning. We're excited to be here. This is actually our conference room, but it's also a digital wall. So the wallpaper you see is actual a digital imprint on each of this wallpaper in this room. So this is actually our conference room here at our new high school located in Tradition.
Oh, that is amazing. I'm going to first introduce our panelist speakers, and then maybe you could do me a favor and introduce your class, kind of give an overview of what your class is, and then we can get into those questions and introduce your students, if you don't mind.
Sounds good to me.
Wonderful. So we're here for Port St. Lucie's virtual town hall for youth, and we're here to engage with you and talk to you about the importance of local government. A lot of times government classes focus on the federal level and maybe the state level, but we want to tell you the importance of local government. From everything you basically do, from stopping at a stop sign to turning on your water, is through your local government. And I have an incredible panel here today for you to ask those questions that you've already prepared in advance. You should have received their bios and pictures, and we appreciate your questions that you already have come up with. And first I'm going to start off with our panelist. It's going to be Officer Fred Knaggs. He's from the Port St. Lucie Police Department.
Good morning.
Next up will be Sarah Prohaska. She is our Communications Director.
Hi there, good morning.
In the middle is Mayor Shannon Martin.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Then we have Deputy City Attorney. We have Ella Gilbert.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Strategic Initiative Director Kate Parmelee is on the end.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
So Miss let's see if I say it right. It's French, right? Latour.
Latour.
Beautiful, beautiful. Would you mind giving us an overview about your class and introduce your students?
Well, right now we have in here our student government body here at Tradition. It's a mixture of 9th and 10th graders, but you know we just opened our new high school here, so we really only have 9th and 10th graders here. So this is actually our student government association here. I have our president here with us, that's Stephen McDowell. He's our SGA president. And then we have Leonardo Castillo over there. He's our 10th grade ninth grade, vice president. And we have Janika Manas over here. She's our overall secretary for SGA. And then we have Sharon right here, Lammers, that she is one of our SGA members. So it's like a well-rounded group. Like I said, this is our group that runs the student body. They oversee all the activities here. As a matter of fact, they just had a wonderful homecoming that, you know, they were very much involved in, and they helped out. And they're pretty new here, but so far they've been doing it really well. The questions, they came up, they worked hard on it, and they made sure that they aligned it with the biographies that they read. So I know they're excited to get started. So what I'm going to do is hand the reins over to Stephen, and he'll go ahead and introduce each of them as they're ready to speak.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right, let's start. So we are going to start with Janika Manas, our SGA secretary, and she has a question for Officer Knaggs.
Okay, how did you as a member of the Disaster Preparedness Unit prepare for Hurricane Irma, and how will you prepare for future hurricanes?
Well, good morning. First and foremost, thank you for the question. We in the city of Port St. Lucie are tasked with multiple different things. We may have a title such as mine as police officer or you know, down the line, but each one of us do different things in our line of work. And one of the things that I do is the disaster preparedness, or emergency management is what it's commonly referred to. So one of the things when it comes to Hurricane Irma, first and foremost, that was 2017. We, locally, we got really lucky because Hurricane Irma kind of took a more western path. The Big Bend of Florida was the most devastated from that hurricane. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us, we were able to dodge that bullet. So the key to preparedness, or the key to action, is preparedness and mitigation. So everybody pretty much knows what preparedness is. When we know that a storm is coming, the key is to be ready, have water, have supplies, first aid kits, emergency, access to emergency radios, because you just never know when we get a big storm, such as Hurricane Andrew that occurred in 1995, I believe it was, down in Homestead. Those are the type of storms that really scare most Floridians. I know that our media likes to put out information when we have a storm that is several days out, if not a couple of weeks out. And the forecast tracks are kind of, we got some going this way, we got some heading this way, and some straight up that path. The forecasts are becoming more and more accurate. So I would just say is when local media, when local government starts to put out information, that you act accordingly and that you start preparing prior to a storm, even in the Atlantic Ocean or in the Gulf of Mexico. When April and May start to come around, it's time to go out and start setting up your hurricane supply kit. So that's one of the key things. That's preparedness. The other part of it is mitigation. So what is mitigation? It's changing risk, right? It's taking our risk and making it not so risky. So one of the key things that you see in our city is a lot of our traffic lights, right? The red and green lights. You notice that we're starting to move to a more, what I call a dominant pole instead of hanging from wires. That is a mitigation. So prior to storms coming in, we used to have to take crews out of preparing for our storms locally and putting them up in bucket trucks and taking, traffic lights down, maybe leaving one or two in an intersection, where now we have a more stable support system for those traffic lights. So that's part of mitigation. At the police department, I am tasked with putting together a hurricane plan every year. And the hurricane plan itself is pretty consistent every year. We just change some names around because in the police department, people change positions, people change titles. So we kind of set up a hurricane plan and we implement that plan when a storm is in our path and within a minimum of 5 days out. And what that implementation looks like is officers first and foremost taking care of their homes, because yes, we wear a uniform to work every day, but at the end of that day, whatever it is, daytime, nighttime, we go home, a lot of us go home to family. So we have to take care of our family. And then we come back to work and we start taking care of the city, whether that's making sure that our patrol vehicles are gassed up, making sure that our residents, if they need help putting up shutters, we try to get that into place. And then just in general, we are all working together, not just at the police department, but at utilities, public works, communications, putting out information. So we all start working together at that 5-day out range. And then again, I mentioned communication. Public information and preparedness is key when it comes to hurricane preparedness. When it comes to hurricane information, we have to be getting out the right information. So long story short, the key is preparedness prior to hurricane season. I go through my box with my family, and we take canned goods that are about to expire and put it on our pantry. We go out to the store and we purchase more stuff and put it in that box, including batteries. Remember, batteries may have a long shelf life, but the last thing you want to do is have those batteries in your hurricane kit that's been there for several years. Take those batteries out, put them in the shelf that you're going to use batteries on a daily basis, and then go out and purchase new batteries and put those in your supply kits. It's things like that. You can always find information. We work very close with the emergency management team at the city, and we just ask that you reach out on our website, www.cityofpsl.com, and I believe it's emergency management. So just, that's the key, is preparedness. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to Ms. Shaylin Lammers, and she is going to ask a question to Ms. Ella Gilbert.
Good morning, Ms. Gilbert.
Good morning.
My question is, how do you maintain confidence when going into the bar exam?
Thank you for this question. I will say, of the questions that I've received throughout the day, this one was a triggering one, because it starts off with the premise that I had confidence prior to going into the bar exam. But I will say this. Today I'm wearing the colors orange and green. I'm wearing them because I represent Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee, Florida. That's where I got my undergraduate degree. And one thing that might not be very clear is that the year that I received my law degree, which I also received from FAMU, was 20 years after when I received my undergrad degree. So I said that to say about you weren't sure if I had confidence going into the bar exam. It was a challenge getting through law school later in life, is the nicest way I'll say it. But I will talk about bar prep. What people may not understand about bar prep, and it was absolutely brand new to me, is that it was a time in my life unlike one I have never experienced. I had not ever experienced, and I don't hope to experience again. Bar prep for me was studying 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And the 7th day, I studied between 8 and 10 hours. During my experience of bar prep, I had some life experiences occur. One thing that happened was I was notified by the IRS that someone had stolen my identity, and I had to deal with tax issues. The second thing that occurred was that you have to apply to type your exam, your essay portion of the bar exam. I missed the deadline for submitting my application, so bar prep is about 10 weeks. So about the second week of May through the end of July. The state of Florida offers the bar exam generally the end of July. And I realized in June that I had not made the deadline to be able to type my exam. I had been practicing for an entire month doing my essays via computer. And then mid-June, I realized that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to handwrite these essays in 3 hours. So that was another transition that I had to deal with. So maintaining confidence, going into the bar exam, I was thrown left and right, but I made it through. I can tell you that when I walked out of that exam, and it's given usually in Tampa, Florida, when I walked out of that Tampa Convention Center, I really did not believe I had passed that exam. It is very tough. The way the exam is designed, about 70% of test takers pass annually. So that means every year, 30% of students who sit for that exam do not pass in Florida. I was overjoyed that I did actually pass the exam on the first attempt. But I just said, I shared that because I want you to understand that there are times in life, things are going to be difficult. You will have to overcome obstacles. Sometimes they're obstacles that you place in your own path. Other times, they're obstacles that others place in your path. You have to find a way to dig down very deep, and I had to dig deep, to make a decision on, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Is it worth it? I can tell you this. I quit my job to go to law school. I was a working professional full-time. I quit my job and I went to law school full-time. So I knew that if I was going to succeed as an attorney, I had to get past this bar exam. So that meant I had to overcome whatever obstacles came in my way, whatever it took. So I hope that answers your question about maintaining confidence. First, you had to get some confidence before you can maintain it. You have another question?
No, that's it for now. Thank you. That was a great answer.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So now we will move on to our 9th grade vice president, Mr. Leonardo Castillo, and he has a question for Mayor Shannon Martin.
All right, well, first and foremost, good morning. And I would like to ask you, with Port St. Lucie being a rapidly developing city, what kind of economic opportunities and economic growth can the citizens in Port St. Lucie expect throughout the next few years?
Good morning, Leonardo, and that's a great question, so thanks very much. One of our strategic goals here in Port St. Lucie is to have a very diverse local economy. And so if you're familiar with the Southern Grove area, which is south of Tradition Parkway along Village Parkway, that is our city's jobs corridor. And for the last several years, we have been very successful in recruiting our healthcare partners. You have Cleveland Clinic, and we have a lot of the spinoffs in the medical field and the healthcare field there. And also our manufacturing, logistics, and distribution facilities that we have. TAMCO, or City Electric, you may know it as, is one of them. In the southwestern portion, most southwestern portion along Becker Road in Village, we have FedEx going in currently right now. We have 2 other economic companies to fulfill that jobs corridor and economic development with Oculus Surgical, who will be making eye equipment for surgeries for doctors when they're in the OR. And also we have Excel coming out of the ground. Cheney Brothers is going to be moving up from West Palm Beach, the food distributor. So we're really focusing in that, those aspects of, like I said, manufacturing, logistics, and distribution. And then what's really important is that these jobs are higher paying jobs. They're higher than our annual average wage in our county. The annual average wage is $48,000. And so these jobs are looking to start in the $55,000 range, which is super important for our community because we want to lift up our community and to make sure that people can afford to live here in the future. And for students, something that I think is really important that we partner with our Economic Development Council, our Chamber of Commerce, and our Treasure Coast Builders Association in conjunction with our college is that we do, they do work boot camps. And what they do is they introduce students to different types of jobs in the community through internships, and whether it be skilled trades or the healthcare field or the manufacturing logistics field, to expose you all to different types of careers that are out there. And so that's something that's really important because some of you may want to go to college, and that's wonderful. Some of you may not want to go to college. You may want to get into the skilled trades aspect or and learn a skill for the future in the construction industry or the marine industry with Maverick boats and Pursuit boats in Fort Pierce. So trying to provide opportunities for our students and for our workforce to have a diverse range of jobs is really important as we continue to go forward. And we're going to continue doing that over the next several years until there's really no more land out there in Southern Grove and in other areas of the city to provide those jobs. We want to keep that going. We have Amazon going out in Midway Road, huge fulfillment center, 1 million square feet fulfillment center out there to provide over 500 jobs, and that's what we want to continue. So great question, and I appreciate it because our economy here locally is something that's been very important to our residents. We want to make sure that we're facilitating and providing for that.
Thank you.
I know we're at a time, but at this point, I know our student government president does have a question for another one of our panelists. If you don't mind, we would like to go ahead and ask that question if it's okay with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We have it for another 3 minutes. Absolutely.
Okay, great. So obviously, good morning to everybody. My question is to Mayor Martin, and it's, how are you going about helping the city's economic situation, and how influential are your fellow government officials in the decisions that you make?
So it is a true team effort, and it really starts with our Economic Development Council. Any businesses or companies or what we call targeted industries that want to come into the city, like I mentioned before, with either logistics, manufacturing, distribution, healthcare, they come into the Economic Development Council. They team up with our county, our business navigator here in the city, if they want any type of incentive, which is our tax abatement. There's job growth grants that are available through the state. So all the way up to the state level, we partner with these companies to see what their needs are and how they can fit best in Port St. Lucie. And then when those decisions get made, if they do want some tax abatement, which is abatement of taxes for a certain period of time, the max that we're allowed to give it for is up to 10 years. Typically here, we do it on a sliding scale to make sure that they are providing the jobs and have skin in the game. It'll come to the council for a decision, so I have to work with my fellow council members. It will go to the county commission for a decision, and then the state makes their decision as well based on the information that's provided through the Economic Development Council on whether or not they can receive that job growth grant. So it is a true partnership of city, county, and state, and our partners in the community working together to bring those targeted industries in that we want to see to provide higher paying jobs for our citizens. So what we do here is very instrumental. And that's a really great question.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, President Steve McDowell, Vice President Leonardo, Secretary, I hope I say this right, I apologize, Janeka, and then SGA member Shaylin. I really appreciate you taking the time to come up with these incredible questions and asking our panelists this. Thank you, and I'm going to say your name wrong. I apologize, Latoro?
Latoro.
Latoro.
That's fine. I'm otherwise known as Miss Turtle.
There you go. I could do that one.
There you go. And I just want to put it out there that our members are ready and willing, and whatever opportunities that you guys would like to have us be a part of, please feel free to reach out to us. Our student government body here is ready, willing to, help out in whatever way, volunteer opportunities that you guys would like us to be a part of. Please feel free to reach out to us, and, we'll get right back with you.
That's awesome. And if you ever want me to come out and talk to the students, I'd be more than willing to do so any day, anytime, about anything in particular. If you want to hone in on a certain subject for, an hour or so, please let me know, because we really want to keep our students involved, because you're the future of our city. So thanks.
Thanks. That's great. Thank you so much. We appreciate this time.
Thank
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
All right, take care.